feel like Paris has a lot more depth to their fashion and to their design and to arts in general, whether it's literature, music. It's me, Amarijasz. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why is Paris so important to fashion in general. So if you're interested, keep watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below something, and turn on those notifications so you won't miss a new video that I drop. And yeah, so basically I decided to do this video because I feel like a lot of people either don't know or don't know. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know or don't really understand why Paris culture is so important, or still has a hold, or still has a grasp, or still something, or that people will still care about their opinion, care about the Parisians' influence or in fashion. I feel like a lot of people think that New York and America were the original creators of fashion industry and what it is today, and they don't understand or know why why are all these designers French? Why are all these designers from Europe? Why is there this sudden theme within all of the designers who've been here for years and years and years are all from Europe? Like, majority of the designers that we know of, like Calvin Klein, these newer designers, they're all from America. But the designers like Chanel, the designers like Louis Vuitton, that have been around for years and years and years, they all come from Europe. And I just decided that it would be cool to basically just talk about why Paris is so important, and basically, yeah, why is Paris so important to fashion in general. So yeah, basically, if you do not know, Paris in general is basically the original. Paris is where fashion as we know it today started, from fashion designers, period. From what the fashion design industry is, it originated in Paris. And you can go all the way back to the kings and queens of European, so the dynasties or European courts. They would have, it was originally a royalty thing. So it would be people who had money, people who were wealthy and well off would ask so-and-so designer to create this look, design this dress, design this thing. So it was always something of a Paris or European thing or concept. You develop these clothes and these robes and these gowns for the galas, these gowns for the parties or for these high-end events, you know. And that was something that was really important, having the status and showing your wealth, and the type of materials and the things that they were used was from and about and originated from Paris and Parisian culture. And then as we get later on, beyond just going to this one person, going back and forth process, when it get to like someone starting their own boutique and having fashion shows, that again was originated in Paris. The first fashion show that ever was a thing was in Paris. And during that time period, beyond the years of kings and queens throughout Europe, once we get into like the 1920s and 1930s and 1910s, everyone in the world looked to Paris specifically, even though there was other influential people, whatever. But when it came to fashion and true design and couture, and basically just looking your absolute best, everyone's eyes was on Paris. Even especially the United States. So the United States, all of the clothes that the people were wearing, it was either influenced by Paris, or some people would buy their things from Paris, fly there, or get things sent from Paris to there. Like, that was that was the brand, that was where everyone wanted their clothes to be from. That was like the best of the best, you know. And then later on, and I feel like what really caused Paris to lose its rent lose its reign. Obviously, you know, America, it was a new country. So it's a new country, it's developing, it's getting its things together. So it's not really at the stage yet where it can start making shots or being influenced or being taken seriously. So they're still looking at where they came from. America is just a country of people who are from Europe, right? So they're still gonna have that tendency, that style, that thing, and as they're still building and developing their country and what their country means and everything, they're still looking at Paris and these other people to get some idea, because they are these people at that time who were at the highest. You know, it wasn't like America as at this highest rank as what it is today. During that time, it was the European countries that were the wealthiest, that had the best teachers, the best educators, the wealthiest men, the most influential people. So obviously, if these are the people who are at the top, everyone wants to emulate that style, emulate that look or whatever, you know. But as America started to gain its notoriety, the reigns of Paris started to slowly go down, and not go down and go down in influence, but not go down in being the true deciders of what is and what isn't going to be in fashion. Because, you know, they have majority of the houses that are actually considered couture, that are actually recognized by the true deciders of the fashion industry, are from Paris houses. And we know LVMH, and how majority of the brands that are under LVMH are European brands, you know. And of course we have the CFDA, the Council of Fashion Designers of America, but that's still something that's new, you know. And LVMH is not only just in fashion, you know, retail, they're in makeup, they're in other sectors. So it's like, yes, America has just like the general influence of people. I feel like America, well, we obviously know this, America is mainstream. So America is for the more accessible, but for the true wealthy, they still is a community. I feel like in the past it was more restrictive. It was more like fashion is, no one is accepted, no one can have this gown unless they are a prince, period. And that's where it was for a lot of things. Like certain clothes, certain colors, certain things was only restricted to the royalty, right? And I feel like as those reigns have become lesser and lesser and lesser, and more people and more fashion brands or fashion stuff has become more accessible, and now people will just spend their last dollar to basically emulate that they have luxury, when in reality they don't. That's what America is, you know. America, that's basically what America is being able to come here, and some people pretend, some people can basically become whatever they want to be without actually having any real backing and really build anything. And I feel like Paris kind of took a step back, intentionally and unintentionally let America be like the mainstream person, be the influencer. But I feel like when it comes to business, when it comes to actually deciding factor of what's going on, when it comes to who has the majority share, the majority money, and at all of these fashion companies, Paris still has the lock on it. And I feel like the true wealthy people, not implying that people in America are not wealthy, but people in America are more new money. And as we say, Paris is a whole country. Paris has been reigning and has been a powerful city, or France, you know, has been a powerful city for a long time. I feel like they just took the direction of, instead of being the forefront leaders, allow America to be the forefront leaders, while they still wear extremely luxury brands that only the true luxury will wear. So they allow you to be the influencer of this, or be the, you know, of this mainstream, you know, accessible fashion, stuff that people can actually, you know, sell their house for, and even slightly attain it. But there's designers with below that, the true, you know, where people, that's the true, you know. No regular person, no matter if they sell everything, still will not be able to afford a Rolex or a Richard Mille or thing. And I feel like people who have money, they get the more quiet, and that's we get into the quiet luxury. And I've made a video about that, but that's we get to the more true, you know, exclusive and luxury brands. But yeah, and I feel like another thing that impacted the reason why America popularity, and why Paris took a back Paris took a back seat in terms of being the influencer in fashion was because of the war. And during that time, a lot of people in America couldn't go to Paris to get the supplies and get the materials and get the things that I needed, or also just even look to Paris or whatever. It's kind of like a conflict of interest. So I feel like that kind of shifted, you know, the focus of looking at Paris to say, you know what, let's just start our own. Let's just start making our name for ourselves, even in the fashion industry. Let's make a name for ourselves. Let's build an identity of Americana fashion, you know, instead of trying to emulate fashion from another country and keep allowing them to be this epitome of what everyone should be. Let's create our own identity as an American country and just build that. And that's what you slowly start to happen. Started to see in 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and also Paris fashion I feel like is a lot more mature. It's a lot more older. It's a lot more less loud, less avant-garde, less camp. And I feel like America fashion is more youth focused, and the true influencers of fashion, what's cool and what's not, is the youth. You know, is 16 to 21 or 25. You know, those are the people who are deciding what's cool and what's not, you know. And that again is totally opposite of how Paris fashion has run and has ever won, you know. And again, a lot of America get their fashion from the people of lower class. To be honest, the lower class people are really the true, you know, people who are really influencing what's cool, what's not. And again, that's completely different from how Paris runs their thing, where it's the starts from the, you know, the high class, then it works down, versus then in America it's the complete reverse. And then it's also focused on people who are younger. And then after that, that's when, and then as America starts to build its brand and identity in the fashion industry, that's where they create New York Fashion Week. And then that becomes, you know, one of the biggest fashion capitals in the entire world. Even though Paris is still a fashion capital, I feel like in some ways America has Paris, New York has Paris beat. I feel like a lot more people are a lot more people are trying to get to New York Fashion Week, or trying to get to America in general, because they feel like to succeed and to be noticed and to even get a chance is more plausible than in Paris. They probably feel like Paris, you have to have some type of backing or have some real money to be able to play, where in America, you know, anyone can throw in a hat and just pretend and be able to get into the door at least, you know. And more opportunity and more people and more diverse and more accepting, you know, of various backgrounds. And I feel like that's also had to do with why America is reigning as long as it is in the fashion industry. And even though they have other capitals, you know, we have London, they have Milan, even Tokyo, even Tokyo is kind of doing this thing with the fashion. But I feel like, for me, I feel like the top two places you want to be is New York or in Paris if you're trying to be a fashion designer. And I feel like even with design period, I feel like if you was to go to a school that was in New York for fashion design and a school in Paris, it would be a totally different experience. I feel like Paris is a lot more richer and a lot more strict and a lot more focused, and have a certain type of style and point of view and technicality that they expect out of their designers and out of fashion in general. And I feel like New York and America is obviously more flexible and a lot more flowy, you know, when it comes to that. Not as like, so you need to be like this, you need to cut it this way or whatever. So yeah. But yeah, so overall, I love Paris. Even though I did say all that, I love Paris. I love Paris fashion. I love Paris aesthetic, their mood, everything about Paris is just so beautiful, the country. And although obviously New York is the influencer of fashion, New York has its crown right now in the fashion industry, I feel like personally, I feel like Paris is so like, I feel like Paris has a lot more depth to their fashion and to their design and to arts in general, whether it's literature, music, poetry. I feel like you feel the passion from the artists and the designers there, and the true like passion and mastery of craft, you know. I feel like if you look at a New York designer and you look at a Paris designer who trained in Paris, worked in Paris, and studied in Paris, it will be a completely difference than a New York designer, you know. And I just love that, and I appreciate that, because for me it's like, it just shows like I care about the history, I care about the beginning. I'm not just trying to be the next it. I actually care about designing and creating, and I'm a true artist to the bone. And that's something that I respect. And that's my goal eventually, is to move to Paris and work as a designer. Because of that reason, because of the history, because our fashion basically originated in fashion as we know it today. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.